Imagine a life where nagging worry dissolves like morning mist, where the elusive pursuit of your deepest desires transforms into an effortless unfolding. For too long, perhaps you've carried the weight of the world, feeling caught in a constant struggle against invisible forces, striving to prove your worth in a world that often seems to demand endless effort. What if I told you that the secret to unlocking true peace, profound confidence, and undeniable success isn't found in external striving, but in a hidden power within you? A power that Dale Carnegie, the master of human potential, implicitly understood and champions in his timeless wisdom. Today, we're not just scratching the surface of self-help. We're diving deep into the very essence of creation, exploring how you can reshape your reality by mastering your inner world. This isn't just theory, it's a practical, transformative journey that will illuminate why some people seem to effortlessly manifest their dreams, while others remain trapped in cycles of anxiety. So lean in, because by the end of this video, you'll discover not just powerful advice, but the key to living a life of profound ease and fulfillment. And if what you learn here resonates, please hit that like button and subscribe, so you don't miss out on future insights designed to empower your journey. Worry, that pervasive and often debilitating state of mind, is not an inherent flaw in your character, nor is it a necessary component of responsibility. Instead, it is born purely out of forgetfulness, a deep-seated forgetfulness of your true source, an unawareness of the immense power that resides within you, and a tragic amnesia regarding the fundamental truth of your being. We often fall into the trap of believing that we must constantly analyze, meticulously plan, vigorously push and forcefully make things happen through sheer brute force effort. This mindset, while seemingly productive on the surface, often leads to exhaustion, frustration, and a deepening sense of inadequacy. We convince ourselves that the burden of every outcome rests solely on our shoulders, and if we fail to exert maximum effort, failure is inevitable. However, the profound truth, a principle echoing through the teachings of those who truly understand human potential and happiness, is that life unfolds not through relentless effort, but through assumption. It is not about straining to lift the world, but about aligning yourself with the current that already carries it. The universe, or the guiding intelligence many refer to as God, is not asking you to figure it all out. It is not demanding a perfect roadmap or an intricate blueprint from your limited human understanding. Rather, it is inviting you, gently yet firmly, to rest in what already is. Consider this powerful perspective. What you desire, that deepest aspiration nestled within your heart, already exists in the unseen realm. The very door you seek to open is already open. The path you yearn to walk has already been meticulously laid out for you. Yet here is the crucial caveat. You cannot physically walk through that open door. You cannot visibly step onto that prepared path until you first see it within. You must internalize it, visualize it with the clarity of inner sight, and accept it as an already accomplished fact. This isn't about ignoring external challenges, it's about shifting your primary focus. Think of it in terms of building anything worthwhile. A magnificent skyscraper, for instance, does not manifest itself through the frantic, uncoordinated efforts of thousands of workers. It first exists in the clear, precise vision of the architect. Every beam, every floor, every window is first seen within the architect's mind, and then meticulously rendered into blueprints. The physical construction then becomes the unfolding of that initial clear assumption. Similarly, in your own life, the act of stopping worry is synonymous with stopping resistance. It is the cessation of battling against the current of life. When you worry, you are essentially resisting the natural flow, doubting that what you desire is truly yours. This persistent doubt creates mental and emotional friction, hindering the manifestation process. You cease to worry the moment you shift your gaze away from the fleeting, often deceptive appearances of the external world and instead begin to attune yourself to the still, small voice within. That inner voice, your intuition, your higher self, your divine connection, is the one that consistently whispers, "All is well." It is the voice that declares the end from the beginning, the voice that knows the answer, even before the question has fully formed on your lips. To truly grasp this, consider the countless individuals who, despite immense external pressure and seemingly insurmountable obstacles, achieved extraordinary feats. Was it purely through Herculean effort? Often, it was through an unshakable inner conviction, a profound knowing that their desired outcome was not just possible, but inevitable. They didn't strive to make it happen. They knew it would happen, and their actions flowed from that deep assurance. This is the essence of effortless creation, not a lack of action, but action born from a place of peace and certainty, rather than anxiety and struggle. It is the confidence that arises when you fully trust the power of your own consciousness to shape your reality. You might utter the words, "I trust God," or "I trust the process," but true trust transcends a mere declaration. It is not a word spoken lightly. It is a profound feeling, an unwavering inner conviction that permeates your entire being. This genuine trust manifests as a quiet, confident assurance in the invisible, a calm certainty that operates beyond the realm of what your physical senses can immediately perceive. It is the resolute refusal to be swayed, to be moved, or to be rattled by the fleeting, often contradictory information that your senses feed you from the external world. This profound level of trust is the deep awareness that the very thing you desire, the vision you hold within, is already yours. Why? Because you have already seen it within. You have conceived it, believed it, and accepted it as a present reality in the sanctuary of your mind. And having been truly seen and accepted within, it carries an undeniable imperative to take tangible form in your external reality. This isn't about ignoring challenges. It's about knowing with unwavering certainty that your inner conviction holds a higher authority than any outer appearance. Consider how this principle plays out in everyday life and in the lives of truly successful individuals. A person who trusts their vision for a new business venture doesn't wait for all market conditions to be perfect or for every potential obstacle to disappear. They act as if the success is inevitable. This isn't recklessness. It's a deep-seated belief that propels them forward, allowing them to perceive opportunities where others see only barriers. Every single time you allow yourself to worry, to fret, to indulge in anxious thoughts, you are, in essence, imagining something you do not want. And here lies the critical connection. Imagination is the workshop of reality. It is the fertile ground where all things are first conceived before they manifest in the physical world. If you consistently use this powerful faculty of imagination against yourself by dwelling on fears, rehearsing worst-case scenarios, or anticipating failure, then do not be surprised when those very fears become your actual experience. The seeds you plant in your mind, watered by your consistent emotional energy, inevitably grow into the harvest you reap in your life. However, the inverse is equally, if not more, true and profoundly empowering. If you diligently learn to use your imagination consciously, to direct its immense power towards envisioning only the good, only the lovely, only the fulfilled desire, then worry, doubt, and anxiety will naturally fade. They will diminish like a shadow at noon, utterly incapable of sustaining themselves in the light of your focused, positive imagination. This is not about a superficial pretense, like trying to convince yourself you feel peaceful while inwardly you tremble with apprehension. Such forced positivity is fleeting and ineffective. No, this is about a much deeper, more authentic transformation. It is about reconditioning your inner world. It is about the deliberate, persistent act of assuming that the answer you seek is already complete, that the universe or God has already moved on your behalf, and that the path ahead is clear, even if your logical mind cannot yet fully discern it. It is the unwavering conviction that everything is meticulously aligning for your highest good, even when the outer world stubbornly appears to remain unchanged, presenting the same old challenges. You do not beg for what is already yours. You do not plead with a benevolent universe to do what has in truth already been accomplished in the spiritual realm. Instead, you assume it. You choose to live from the end, from the perspective of your wish already being fulfilled. You embrace, immerse yourself in, and rest in the profound feeling of that wish fulfilled. You allow that potent positive feeling to permeate and saturate every fiber of your being. You begin to walk through life not as someone desperately hoping that things might work out, but as one who knows with absolute certainty that they already have. This inner conviction, this silent trust, becomes the very magnet that draws your desired reality into your experience. It is the cornerstone of effective self-mastery and the key to unlocking your true potential. The phrase, reconditioning your inner world, is not a fleeting concept. It is the very bedrock of personal mastery and the foundation upon which lasting success and peace are built. It goes far beyond mere superficial optimism or a temporary burst of positive thinking. This is a profound, deliberate, and persistent commitment to reshaping the landscape of your mind, the very source from which all your experiences flow. Think of your inner world as a vast, fertile garden. What you plant in that garden, what you nurture with your thoughts and emotions, will inevitably grow and bear fruit in your external life. If you allow seeds of doubt, fear, and worry to take root, you will naturally harvest a life filled with anxiety and struggle. However, if you consciously and consistently plant seeds of confidence, faith, and assumption of fulfillment, your outer reality will inevitably reflect that inner landscape. This reconditioning process begins with a conscious decision to persistently assume that the answer you seek is not merely a future possibility, but an already accomplished fact. It's the firm conviction that the universe, or a higher power, has already set in motion the events necessary for your desire to manifest. The path is clear, the way is made, even if your physical eyes cannot yet perceive it, and even if the outer circumstances stubbornly refuse to conform to your immediate expectations. Dale Carnegie, a master of human relations and personal development, understood the immense power of attitude and belief. He often emphasized that our thoughts largely determine our experiences. Reconditioning your inner world aligns perfectly with this principle. It means actively working on your mental attitude, turning it from a state of questioning and pleading to one of certainty and knowing. You are not begging for what you already possess in the realm of consciousness. You are not pleading for an action that has, in truth, already been set into motion by your powerful imagination. Instead, you assume it. You actively choose to live from the end, meaning you adopt the perspective of someone who has already achieved their desire. You don't just think about having it. You think from having it. This means you cultivate and rest in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. This isn't a fleeting emotion. It's a deep, pervasive state of being. You allow that feeling, whether it's joy, relief, gratitude, peace, or abundance, to utterly saturate your entire being. It becomes your default emotional home. When this feeling becomes your constant companion, your actions naturally align with it. You walk through life not as a hopeful bystander, passively wishing for things to work out, but as an active participant who knows with unwavering conviction that they already have. When worry, doubt, or external challenges inevitably arise, and they will, for the world continues its dance, understand that their appearance is not a sign of failure, but merely a signal. It's a gentle, or sometimes not so gentle, reminder that you have momentarily forgotten who you truly are, that you have momentarily slipped from your chosen state of assumption. This is not a moment for self-condemnation, but for gentle correction. In such moments, you consciously choose to return to your inner sanctuary, to the vivid vision of your fulfilled desire, to the pervasive feeling of the answer already in hand. And crucially, you stay there. You don't just visit this state. You dwell there, you live there, for it is from this sacred dwelling place, this consistent inner alignment, that all desired things are added unto you. This manifestation does not occur through struggle, through might, or through relentless outer effort. It occurs through alignment, a harmonious resonance between your inner world and the external reality you wish to experience. You cease the act of worrying, not by forcing it out, but by a conscious focus. It is a deliberate, moment-by-moment choice to feel as if your desire is already accomplished, to trust implicitly that what you hold firmly in your consciousness must ultimately clothe itself in physical form. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, is not a distant entity waiting to bestow blessings upon you. It is the very power moving through your own imagination, diligently fulfilling every single image, every profound feeling, and every persistent assumption that you accept as true within your inner world. Therefore, when your mind begins to wander into old patterns of doubt, when fear whispers its insidious lies, you have a powerful choice. You answer it not with argument or struggle, but with knowing. You answer it with silence. You answer it with a deep, unshakable stillness that unequivocally declares, I already have it. It is finished. I trust the unseen more than the seen. This inner declaration, consistently held, is the ultimate reconditioning. It reshapes your inner world and consequently transforms your outer reality. Consider worry not as an enemy to be vanquished, nor as an inevitable burden to be borne, but rather as a signal. It is an internal alarm, a gentle whisper from your deeper self, indicating that you have momentarily drifted from your true course. When worry rises, it serves as a clear, albeit uncomfortable reminder that you have, for a fleeting moment, forgotten who you truly are. You've forgotten the immense creative power that resides within you, the inherent peace that is your birthright, and the fundamental truth that your desires are already orchestrated in the unseen realm. This understanding transforms the experience of worry from a paralyzing force into an invaluable tool for redirection. Instead of succumbing to its grip or battling against its presence, you can interpret it as a cue to gently, yet firmly, return to your inner sanctuary. This inner sanctuary is not a physical place but a state of consciousness, a space of profound peace, certainty, and vision. It is the place where you reconnect with the core of your being, the source of your strength and inspiration. To return means to consciously re-engage with your inner vision. It means to call forth the vivid image of your desire already fulfilled. It means to deliberately assume the feeling of the answer already being in your possession. And critically, you must stay there. You don't just visit this state for a moment, you make it your dwelling place. You choose to live from that perspective, breathing it, feeling it, and allowing it to permeate every thought and action. Why is it so vital to dwell in this state? Because it is from this sacred inner dwelling place that all things are added unto you. This isn't a reward for arduous struggle or a prize for relentless effort. It is the natural consequence of alignment. When your inner state, your thoughts, feelings, and assumptions, is in harmonious alignment with your desired reality, the outer world begins to conform to that inner blueprint. It happens not through might, not through struggle, but through this profound resonance. Dale Carnegie, in his timeless teachings, often emphasized the importance of mental attitude. He taught that our attitudes determine our outcomes far more than external circumstances. When we worry, we are essentially operating from a mental attitude of lack, doubt, and fear. To stop worrying, therefore, is not an act of brute force, but an act of deliberate focus. It is choosing again and again to shift your attention from what is currently perceived as lacking or difficult to the inner reality of your desire already being fulfilled. This means consciously trusting that what you firmly hold in your consciousness, what you deeply believe to be true within, must ultimately clothe itself in physical form. It's a fundamental law of the universe, as within, so without. Your inner world is the cause, your outer world is the effect. The understanding that God, or the divine intelligence, is not some distant entity waiting to bless you, but the very power moving through your imagination, is profoundly liberating. Every image you persistently accept as true, every feeling you consistently cultivate, is being actively fulfilled by this inherent creative force. So, when your mind inevitably begins to wander, when old patterns of thought try to pull you back into the quicksand of worry, or when fear whispers its deceptive lies, you have a potent response. You answer it not with argument or resistance, but with knowing. You respond with a profound silence, a stillness that acknowledges the external noise, but refuses to give it power. It is a quiet, unwavering declaration that says, I already have it, it is finished. I trust the unseen more than the seen. This inner declaration, held with consistency and conviction, is what transforms your reality. As you steadfastly hold to that inner state of knowing, life itself begins to bend around you. Reality reshapes itself to match your internal blueprint. And what once caused you immense worry and anxiety now, in a miraculous unfolding, becomes the undeniable testimony of your unwavering faith and transformed consciousness. You were never designed to be a worrier. It is not your natural state. From the very beginning, you were fashioned out of divine peace, not anxiety. You were brought into existence by a mind that knows only love, absolute certainty, and infinite supply. Your inherent state is one of calm assurance, not frantic agitation. Fear in its various guises, anxiety, doubt, apprehension, often manifests as a compelling inner dialogue, a relentless stream of what-if scenarios, and a pervasive sense of impending doom. It can grip the mind, paralyze action, and distort perception, making mountains out of molehills and obscuring the path forward. However, the profound truth is that fear at its core is an illusion, a projection of unwanted possibilities into the future, fueled by a forgetting of your inherent power and connection to the source of all life. To truly silence fear is not to suppress it or to pretend it doesn't exist. It is a conscious, deliberate act of shifting your inner state from one of reaction to one of knowing and stillness. When your mind, the fertile ground of your experience, begins to wander into the dark alleys of hypothetical problems, when fear whispers its insidious lies about lack, failure, or loss, you have a powerful and effective response. You answer it with knowing. This knowing is not intellectual knowledge. It is an intuitive, heart-centered certainty that transcends logic and external evidence. It is the deep conviction that your desire is already fulfilled, that the divine orchestration is perfectly unfolding, and that you are always supported. This knowing manifests as silence, a profound inner quietude that refuses to engage with the fear-based narrative. You don't argue with fear. You don't try to reason with it. Instead, you meet it with an unshakable stillness that declares unequivocally, "I already have it. It is finished. I trust the unseen more than the seen." Consider how this principle applies to common fears, such as the fear of public speaking, a common challenge addressed by Dale Carnegie. Carnegie didn't teach people to suppress their nervousness. Instead, he taught them to prepare thoroughly, to focus on the value they were delivering, and to act as if they were confident. This acting as if is a powerful form of assumption where the inner conviction shapes the outer reality. By internalizing the success of the speech before it was given, the speaker began to silence the fear-based thoughts. This concept extends to all forms of fear. You are not here to constantly brace for the worst, to feel perpetually at the mercy of external circumstances, or to try and earn your worth through endless struggle. This pervasive idea that you must worry to be responsible or be anxious to prove you care is a deceptive lie passed down through generations of collective forgetfulness. It is a societal conditioning that contradicts your true nature. The truth, a truth far more potent and remarkably simpler, is that you were created to rest, to trust, and to know within yourself that you are supported by a force infinitely greater than your own limited willpower. Every instance you succumb to worry, you are in essence stepping outside your divine nature. You are entertaining a state of mind that directly contradicts the inherent truth of who you are, a being of peace, abundance, and unlimited potential. Worry suggests a false narrative, that you are alone, that there is no divine orchestration guiding your path, that your desires may never come to fruition, or that life itself may not ultimately support you. Yet, none of this is truly real. It may feel real. The voices of doubt and urgency may sound deafeningly loud, but they are not truth. You were never created to carry burdens heavier than your soul can bear. You were designed to live from a place of harmony, unwavering faith, and deep inner knowing. Worry is not your responsibility. Creation is. You were endowed with the magnificent power of imagination, not with the crippling paralysis of panic. You were given inner vision, not inner torment. Worry at its core is the misuse of this divine faculty of imagination. It is the act of projecting an unwanted future scenario and then emotionally preparing yourself to receive it. But this was never your intended purpose. Your purpose is to imagine the good, the lovely, the whole, the complete. Your purpose is to live from a profound knowing that everything is already finished in the mind of God, that all things are already perfectly aligned for your highest good. But you cannot perceive this truth, you cannot experience this reality, if you are constantly viewing it through the distorting lens of worry. Worry clouds your spiritual vision, obscures the truth, and binds your awareness to the very fear you wish to escape. To silence fear is to liberate your imagination, to direct its immense power towards the vision of your fulfilled desire, and to rest in the certainty that what you envision within must, in due course, manifest without. Delving into the truth of your creation is not merely a philosophical exercise, it is a profound journey of self-discovery that liberates you from the shackles of imposed limitations and reveals the boundless potential that resides at your core. You were not fashioned out of chaos or lack. Rather, your very essence was woven from divine peace, not anxiety. Your being was imagined into existence by a mind that knows only love, certainty, and infinite supply. This is the fundamental, unshakable truth of your origin, a truth often obscured by societal conditioning, past experiences, and the persistent whispers of fear. The prevailing narrative in much of the world suggests that life is a struggle for survival, a constant battle against scarcity and threat. This often leads individuals to live by survival instincts, to be perpetually tormented by doubt and fear, and to constantly brace themselves for the worst. It instills the belief that you must be in a perpetual state of vigilance, trying to earn your worth through endless striving and suffering the consequences of uncontrollable circumstances. However, this narrative is a profound lie, a misunderstanding passed down through generations of forgetfulness. The notion that you must worry to be responsible, or that you must be anxious to demonstrate care, is a deceptive fabrication. It implies that a loving creator would bestow upon you a gift as fragile as life, only to leave you utterly defenseless against its inherent challenges. This contradicts the very nature of an intelligent, benevolent universe. The truth, a truth far more powerful and remarkably simpler, is this: you were created to rest, to trust, and to know within yourself that you are perpetually supported by a force infinitely greater than your own isolated willpower. This isn't an invitation to passivity, but a call to align yourself with a higher wisdom. Every single time you succumb to worry, you are, in essence, stepping outside your divine nature. You are choosing to entertain a state of mind that directly contradicts the very truth of who you are, a being of inherent peace, profound capabilities, and limitless potential. Worry, when examined closely, suggests a series of disempowering beliefs: that you are fundamentally alone in the universe, that there is no divine orchestration guiding your path, that your deepest desires may never come to fruition, or that life itself is inherently chaotic and will not ultimately support you. But these are mere illusions. They may feel real in the moment. They may appear loud and urgent, dominating your mental landscape. Yet they are not the truth of your reality. You were not created to bear burdens heavier than your soul can gracefully hold. You were designed, intricately and purposefully, to live from a place of harmony, unwavering faith, and deep inner knowing. This is your natural state, your inherent operating system. Worry is not a function of this system. It is, in fact, a misuse of imagination. It is the act of projecting an unwanted future event into your consciousness, and then, through repeated visualization and emotional engagement, preparing yourself to receive that unwanted outcome. But you were never intended for this destructive pattern. Your profound imaginative faculty was given to you for a far grander purpose: to imagine the good, the lovely, the complete, and the already fulfilled. You are meant to live from a place of absolute knowing that everything, absolutely everything, is already complete and perfected in the mind of God, in the blueprint of the universe. You are meant to know that all things are already aligned with your highest good. However, here is the crucial impediment. You cannot perceive this profound truth. You cannot fully experience this harmonious reality if you are constantly looking at life through the distorting lens of worry. Worry, like a thick fog, obscures your spiritual vision. It clouds your perception of truth and binds your awareness to the very fear you wish to escape. To reclaim your true nature, to step into the truth of your creation, requires a conscious act of shifting your focus from the perceived limitations of the outer world to the boundless potential that resides within you, a potential rooted in divine peace and infinite supply. The sacred art of assumption is not merely a psychological technique or a fleeting act of wishful thinking. It is a profound spiritual principle, a fundamental law of consciousness that unlocks the very mechanism of creation. It is the unwavering inner conviction, the deep-felt certainty that your desire is not only possible but already fulfilled in the invisible realms. This art demands that you step fully into the feeling of the thing you want, and from that empowered state, you begin to live your life as though it were already your present reality. Consider the analogy of an actor preparing for a pivotal role. They don't just intellectualize the character, they delve deep into the character's psyche, feeling their emotions, adopting their mannerisms, speaking with their voice, and moving through the world as that character. Similarly, the art of assumption requires you to embody the version of yourself who has already received, who already possesses, the very thing you desire. This isn't about pretense or illusion. It's about aligning your internal state with your desired external reality. This sacred art teaches that true manifestation does not occur through frantic chasing, desperate striving, or the debilitating act of doubting your innate power. Instead, you attract and receive by stepping into the palpable feeling of the thing you want and meticulously living from that place as though it were already irrevocably yours. This, then, is the quiet, unassuming power that reshapes mountains and parts seas, not through brute force or strained, exhausting effort, but through an unwavering faith and perfect inner alignment. You learn to assume the state of the answered prayer. This means your mental, emotional, and energetic state precisely mirrors what it would be like if your prayer or deepest desire were already heard, answered, and manifested. You deliberately occupy the mind of the fulfilled desire. Your thoughts, your inner dialogue, your conscious focus, all consistently revolve around the vibrant reality of your desire being complete. You begin to speak from the victory, not merely towards it. Your words transform from pleas for a future outcome into confident, authoritative declarations of what already is. As you persist, faithfully and consistently, in that state of fulfilled assumption, the outer world begins to conform to your inner reality. It does so not because you have battled or manipulated external circumstances, but because you have chosen to believe beyond its current, often contradictory appearances. Effort, in its conventional sense, belongs to the realm of separation. The belief that you are distinct from what you desire and must bridge that perceived gap through arduous, individual toil. Effort often screams, "I must do something colossal to make this real." Assumption, on the other hand, belongs inherently to the realm of oneness. It recognizes the profound interconnectedness of all things and your inherent creative power within that unified field. Assumption, with quiet conviction, asserts, "It is already real, and my role now is simply to live in harmonious alignment with it." This is neither denial nor delusion. It is the profound boldness of spiritual awareness, the unshakable knowing that your inner reality creates your outer form. It is the fundamental understanding that nothing truly manifests outside the realm of consciousness, and what you consistently and deeply accept as true within must express itself outwardly. The primary reason so many individuals remain perpetually trapped in debilitating cycles of worry and endless, exhausting effort is that they are still attempting to create from a deep-seated place of perceived lack. They are operating from the pervasive assumption that they do not yet have what they desire, and consequently they feel compelled to do an enormous amount to acquire it. However, a profound truth emerges. What you do will always inevitably flow from what you believe, and what you attract will always, precisely, reflect what you assume. If you persistently live in a state of "I don't have," then regardless of how much external work or activity you undertake, you are continuously reinforcing the very absence of your desire. Your actions, though perhaps well-intentioned, become desperate attempts to fill a perceived void, often leading to more frustration and less fulfillment. But if you wholeheartedly live in the state of "I already received," then every single action you take becomes inspired. Every step you make is guided by an unseen intelligence. Every moment transforms into an effortless bridge, leading inevitably to your desired outcome. Your purpose is not to make it happen through strenuous effort. Your purpose is to assume it's already happened. That unwavering assumption becomes your dwelling place, your fundamental, persistent state of being. And just as the ancient Hermetic principle states, "As within, so without, and as you believe, so shall it be," your outer reality must conform. Your assumption doesn't negate action. Rather, it fundamentally transforms the nature of your action. Your actions are no longer frantic, desperate, or rooted in fear. Instead, they flow naturally, easily, and with divine timing and precision, precisely because they are anchored in a state of already having. You cease to anxiously question, "How will this happen?" Instead, you declare with calm certainty, "It has already happened. My only task now is to stay faithful to this inner vision." When you choose to live by assumption, you shift from a state of effort to a state of embodiment. You are no longer trying to get something external. You are now being someone, specifically the version of yourself who has already received the thing you desire. You are thinking like them, feeling like them, and moving through the world with the quiet confidence that emanates from them. That profound inner embodiment is the precise signal, the unique frequency, the magnetic field that effortlessly draws your desire to you, not through arduous labor, but through perfect, harmonious alignment. You begin to recognize that every perceived delay, every moment of silence, every seemingly closed door was never an act of punishment or denial. It was simply the universe, patiently waiting for your internal assumption to precisely match the profound promise you hold within. Life is not withholding from you. It is meticulously responding to you. It is serving as a perfect mirror reflecting your dominant inner state. Therefore, change your inner state, and the external reflection must change. Not because you have somehow earned it through struggle, but because you have courageously assumed it as your truth. This is the profound simplicity of divine law. It does not demand perfection in every action, it demands persistence. Persistence in the inner knowing, persistence in holding the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and persistence in the unwavering assumption that what you vividly see and feel within is infinitely more real, more potent, and more authoritative than anything you perceive without. This is the sacred art through which the unseen becomes seen, and what once seemed utterly impossible becomes absolutely inevitable, not by the fleeting strength of your external effort, but by the unwavering steadiness of your sacred assumption. You live from the end, not merely towards it. You think from the perspective of the desire already fulfilled, not towards its potential fulfillment. You do not use prayer to beg, you use it to align. You do not use faith to cope with adversity, you use it to create. And true creation is not a future event, it is a present awareness. And what happens when you live this way? Reality itself begins to bend, people appear, opportunities align in serendipitous ways, and synchronicities increase exponentially. But these are not signs for you to start believing. They are the undeniable results of your already believing. You don't believe because things happen because you believe. You don't wait to see before you accept and then you see. So continue to lift your inner sight above fleeting outer evidence. Continue to walk through the doors you vividly see in spirit, even if the physical hallway still appears dark. Trust implicitly that what is formed within must take form without. Know that your faith is never wasted. The seed of your vision will grow. The dream, when nurtured by your consistent inner sight, will become tangible substance. The invisible will become visible, and the door once imagined as open will very soon be open in truth. So, beloved one, let this profound truth settle deeply into your spirit. The door is already open. Not by human permission, but by divine authority. Not because of relentless striving, but because you dared to believe. Your assumption possesses immense power. Your inner vision is sacred. Your unwavering inner agreement with the divine promise is the key that no external hand can ever remove or manipulate. Walk not by what your physical eyes see, but by who you profoundly know yourself to be in spirit. For when you remain faithful to the end you have envisioned, the world must reshape itself to match your inner reality. Delay is not defeat. Rejection is not final. And the no of man can never, ever silence the resounding yes of the divine. Keep walking, keep knowing, keep becoming. The door stands open and no man can shut it.